But before we get to that and talk about the T-Wolves, I got one last question with the Bulls that we have to get to, because this is a thing that I was listening to Waddle and Sylvie on Friday before the game against the Cavs. They had Rachel Nichols on. They were talking about the game, and they kind of talked about where does Jimmy Butler sit in kind of the rankings of the NBA. And they kind of solidified for sure that Jimmy Butler for sure is a top 15 player in the NBA. You can say that confidently. But Dave, I want to ask you the question, is Jimmy Butler a top 10 player in the NBA?
And that's a close one. There's a lot of those guys who are on the fringe. Like you can rule out 1 through 5 real easy. It's Steph, it's LeBron, it's KD, it's Russ, and it's Kawhi. In my mind, that's locked up.
Dame Lillard at 6.
You could go, I would go, honestly, this season I would go Anthony Davis and James Harden right there.
DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan is overperforming as well.
And then 9-10. Do you put Lillard in your top 10? I mean, he's on a bad team, but he's still phenomenal talent.
I feel like Jimmy outperforms him right now.
Well, to me, Jimmy is a top 10 player.
So I've got Jimmy at 9.
Whether he's 9, 10, even 8 at the most, it's one of those things with Jimmy. I don't care where you put him. Put him in the top 10. That's all. I don't care where you have him.
I've got him at 9 right now, personally, because I think that it's he's grown every year. Mm-hmm. This year especially, he's one of the best two-way players in the league. Statistically, he's having one of his best efficiency years. So there's nothing to dislike about Jimmy Butler. Give me a flaw in his game right now. There isn't really one. I mean, he's putting up like 20. He's got 25 a night.
You want to know why
6
there isn't?
4 assists.
You want to know why there isn't a flaw in his game right now?
Why is that?
Because Jimmy Butler is your father.
Thank you. And he's only playing 35 minutes. He
doesn't have to play 40 minutes a game because of it's one of those things.
Because Tom Thibodeau isn't his coach?
Yeah, because Tom Thibodeau isn't. Well, some were going to say that maybe, and I said sit the fuck down because we're not trading him to the T-Wolves.
Yeah, no.
You can just take Jimmy out of all your trade rumors because we're keeping him. He's our team captain now.
Yep.
This is Jimmy's team. And to me, it's one of those things where he is in the top 10 mainly because of what you said. Best two-way. To me, one of the best two-way players in the NBA. Right now, overall, when I think two-way players, I'm thinking in the top 10 alone, I'm thinking, well, LeBron is everything. So, he's going to be in LeBron? It. But, Kawhi and Jimmy. Some of the best two-way players right now in the NBA, unless there's someone in the top 10.
I mean, Chris Paul's right there. Anthony Davis is right there. That's all. Those guys. But Jimmy is, as far as coming from a guard position, that's asking a little bit more.
Well, guard, shooting forward, kind of a hybrid.
Yeah. Well, look, I know he's marked as a small forward for us, but let's be honest.
He's more of a shooting guard.
Well, it's positions, and a ton of NBA coaches have talked about this, and it's just the theology of the game. You can put whatever label you want on it, but when they're on the court, it's what job do they fulfill? And it's really just you have someone who brings up the ball, you've got some wings, and you've got some bigs down low.
Well, it's kind of
just play
like
it simple.
Jordan and LeBron. Were listed as one thing, but both could bring the ball up. Sometimes
that's straight. Yes. The streak of games in 86 or something when Jordan played point.
Yep.
And he was triple double, machine. But it's what you need. What does your team need from you? And Jimmy gives it to him.
No, I totally think he is a top 10 talent in this league. And like I said, it's because of the two-way ability that he has. And that, to me, I'm also putting in that he's kind of a leader of this team. And it's one of those things where...
It's growing.
Last year was so rough. And it's just nice that we got all the baggage pushed off to New York.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, good, we gave it to New York, but that's just where we gave it to.
I understand.
And we don't have that baggage anymore. That D Rose, Joe.
Yeah.
I throw Joe Keeman. I feel bad for him.
Because Joe was a locker room guy for years.
But he was kind of baggage at the end.
He was anti-coach.
Anti-Hoiberg.
I mean, that's the thing. And Wade's coming in, and he's for him. He's he's getting a buy-in from the players. And Rondo talked about this in the post-game with, I forget if it was the post-game or the halfway point. It was brought up that, hey, look, this locker room is very close. There was an optional shoot-around thing last night or the night before the game. And
so Thursday.
Thursday night. And they had 8, 9 guys show up for that. And they're all out there busting their ass for a practice that they don't have to be there for, but they want to be there for. So I think that's truly kind of when you start to see that, like, hey, our team's got it this year.
It's one of those things you got to build the culture.
Yeah.
And right now the Bulls were at a point where we had the culture with Thibodeau of this is what our team was, and now this is the start of building the culture in the Fred Hoiberg days. Before we move on, I'm going to, little disclaimer, leave your comments down below in the comment section. Let us know what you thought about this long 30-minute Bulls discussion overall. If you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, yeah, you're welcome. I could go on for days about talking about the Chicago Bulls, but